everyone. My name is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson, and I'm out here asking the tough questions. What is Canadian theatre? Now, welcome to my little segment. I'm so excited to have you here. If you could just introduce yourself to our viewers here and a little bit about your show at the Fringe.
You got it. So, hello, my name is Shaharah Gaznabbi. You can call me Gaz. I use they, them pronouns, and my show is My Pet Lizard Liz, the Shakespearean Existential Crisis that led to his ultimate demise. And that's it.
That's it. That's it. That sounds like quite a bit, to be honest with you. So can you talk to me a little bit about how, I know I was doing some reading, and you're talking about grief and comedy, and how do those go hand in hand, and what's special about this show?
That's a very good question. I find that mixing comedy and grief is a really fun texture to play within, especially because I am somebody who loves to escape and use grief as use comedy as escapism. Yes. I mean, if I use grief as escapism, that would be a bit more of an opposite thing.
Absolutely.
But I like using levity as a way to kind of work through my emotions, but I've learned that not everybody processes their grief in that same way. So a lot of my show is trying to dance around the problem with puppets and seeing how everyone else reacts to that.
That's wonderful. And so talk to me a little bit about these puppets. You know, why not use real people? I mean, what benefit does using puppets have to tell your story?
That's also I have a thing where I'm like, that's a very good question, Daphne. Thank you very much. There's something about creating space with puppets, and It allows you to enter something in a very approachable and just easy way. And I love acting with people, but I think that people really connect and give their hearts to puppets. They connect with it in a different way.
That's very interesting. I mean, I've never felt connected to a puppet, but I'm looking forward to finding that connection in your show.
Yeah, this is going to be the time. You get to connect with a number of puppets, not even just one. We'll have big puppets, small hand puppets, all sorts of different puppets. So you're going to fall in love with one by the end of this.
There's a puppet for everyone out there, right? I'm so excited. And so I'd also love, I'm asking everyone this question. I mean, what is Canadian theatre to you, and how does this show fit into that landscape of Canadian theatre? Is it puppets? Is it grief? Is it comedy? Where does this show fit in?
I think that the show fits in because it's, in a way, apologetically unapologetic. And it's not just monolithic as well. And I like that in Canadian theatre, I can be a person of color but not have to do a show that's specifically about being a person of color. It can be a comedy about grief, and it can also kind of point at things in our industry in a really fun way. I like to point out and kind of make fun of our industry in different ways, which is why we also do have a song about the way that My Pet Lizard Liz will change Canadian theatre. So it's kind of great that you're asking this question.
This is perfect. You know, I'm out here, I'm doing the interviews that the people want to hear, you know? Canadian theatre, everybody wants to know what it is. And why Shakespeare then? You know, Shakespeare's British, so, and of course there's, you know, colonial influence, but talk to me a little bit about why Shakespeare is some of the influence for this show.
Yeah, it's a super great question and I think that's why I chose it, because he is the epitome of Eurocentric and European theatre, and it's what everybody goes to. Do you want to interview the truck instead, actually?
Yeah, I think that this is, I don't think he likes Shakespeare very much, to be honest with you. Quite loud. We'll wait for the beeping to go away, and then we'll get back to it. On the street interviews, right?
Absolutely. But that was an interesting point, and I think that we should actually, if it has any more to say, then no.
Write that down.
Yeah. No, he is the peak of Eurocentric theater, and I think that's why I wanted to play within that texture of what are the forms of theater that people focus on and have a very specific way of looking at, and how are people like me or even lizards trying to do theater, trying to rework the ways that people have traditionally seen it done before.
That is very, very cool. And I've never seen a lizard do theater, so you really are breaking the boundaries of what theater can be.
You will see the first lizard playwright write the first lizard play directed by the first Ram director, Anand Rajaram. So, yeah.
Well, there we have it. We're literally making history here, folks. This is so exciting. And so I must ask the question, I mean, why make history in Canada? You know, what's that? Why Canada?
Oh, well, first off, everyone that we have on our team is Canadian, and also have chosen to settle in Canada. A lot of us are first-generation immigrants, and we're here making theater and kind of just letting each other, like make our mark in where we are. And people think that Canadian theater or Canadian is one thing, where really it is a whole range of identities. And in the same way that like brown isn't just one thing, like I'm Caribbean and also Canadian, and that means a lot of different things. And I think history deserves to be made in Canada and also deserves to be made in Toronto. The Toronto theater scene specifically is a theater scene worth our grit, with our time, with our grit, with our effort. And I think that's why I love Toronto Fringe as well, because it's wacky and everyone is so like, there's a mix of young artists here as well. Yeah, it's a very good mix, and I think that's why.
That is a wonderful, wonderful answer. I love to hear that. Oh, I'm just so tickled pink with these answers. Lost Scribe, you say, aims to foster new work, and I think this does go with our last question, and champion intersectional storytellers.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about what that means to you and how working with Lost Scribe elevates this message in your show, or vice versa. How does your show elevate that message for Lost Scribe?
I love how much you stalked me. This is amazing.
Well, journalism, right?
Absolutely. It's like just the easiest way of stalkerism. It's perfect. No, the Lost Scribe Collective is just about in the same way of Canadian theater is unapologetically apologetic, of just unapologetically letting ourselves tell the stories we want to make. And just because we are intersectional voices, for example, I'm a queer Muslim and also a first generation like queer person, and all of that is kind of ingrained in the work, but it's not like we need to make the work simply about that. We can kind of let our identities influence the work, but not necessarily need it to be the center of focus of our work either. So we could just create the work and then it's understood and it's just a part of it. That makes sense. That
absolutely makes sense. I mean, each of us are just living our own lives, and we don't necessarily project all of our identities at once. So I think it's just magical to see that come to fruition on stage as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. And so I also was curious, can you talk to me a little bit about what the heck a relaxed performance is? I've seen that all of your performances are relaxed performances. Yes. Why is that a benefit? And just talk to me about that, what that is.
Absolutely. Well, I'm somebody who lives with Tourette syndrome, so when I was coming into the theater, I always feared that my tics would get in the way of people enjoying their time at the theater, and it a lot of the time made me really scared to go to performances.
Right.
So for me, whenever I have a Fringe show, it's kind of important for me to have people have the ability to come in and out as needed, or feel like it's okay to verbally tic if they need to. And especially in a show that we're talking about grief in such a specific way, I want to give people the space if they need to leave the room for any sense. And during a relaxed performance, we do a speech at the very top. We let everyone know what you're going into. So there's going to be no surprises in terms of getting hit with something that might be a bit emotionally taxing on you. So that's why that's important for me.
That's wonderful. And I think that does lead back to your unapologetically apologetic manifesto piece there,
Absolutely. I make everything as complicated as it needs to be. That's why.
That's what I'm discovering. But also at the same time, it's quite straightforward and simple. Like, I think it's really quite beautiful what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Very exciting. And so one final question for you, and I'm asking everyone this question as well. What do you want to do with your life?
I want to be interviewed by you every single year. And I think that this is exactly what I want to be doing. Like, I want to be writing and performing and working with people that I truly love. I mean, when you come and see the show, you'll see that it's magical because of the songs and the sets that everyone has just put their hearts into. And that's what I want to do. I just want to make really cool stuff with my friends. That's exactly it.
That is just perfect. Simple, clear, and whimsical. I just love it. So be sure to check out this show at the Toronto Fringe. I'll be linking the times and dates in the program. We've got the program over there, and we'll take a picture for you. All right? This is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson signing off. Watch the next video. It's pretty cool. My name is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson. My name is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson. My name is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson. Watch the next video. It's pretty cool. Watch the next video. My name is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson. My name is Daphne St. Clair Ferguson. Watch the next video.